Last night, we told you about the impact virtual schooling's had on student performance in Chesterfield. More middle and high schoolers failing courses compared to this time last year.
But some parents say remote learning has caused another problem to occur that doesn't always show up on report cards. Tonight, a problem solvers investigation. Melissa Hippolyte explores why more school-aged children in Henrico have been showing up in the emergency room during the pandemic.
I can't even understand what they're saying.
Watching a video about the French Revolution, 14-year-old Kyleigh Fannin struggles to interpret what she's supposed to be learning.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
In 9th grade at Glen Allen High School and forced to do virtual learning since March because of the pandemic, Kyleigh says much of her school day now consists of watching videos and trying to stay focused.
Tests and quizzes get harder, just a bunch of things started going downhill, I feel like.
She's never had F's or D's, and now we have several.
Kyleigh's mom, Jennifer Farmer, says things really started to spiral in the fall.
And she just wasn't getting up out of bed. Her demeanor was different. She had a different attitude. She was just not happy, sad, not engaged, shut in her room a lot.
Kyleigh started exhibiting signs of anxiety and depression.
There was no motivation to do anything. I just knew once I couldn't see my friends and all this stuff that it was just everything just started I was just sitting in my room because there's nothing else to do, and it just kind of became an everyday thing.
Her virtual learning buddy, Ripley Villa, began to feel the same way.
Just kind of numb because you don't want to do anything. You just kind of want to sit there until it's over because you're realizing that there's not really anything you can do to fix it.
It balls up into this big thing, and it's just a lot of stress on you.
It's like a corn maze.
Yeah.
I feel like you're in a corn maze.
Yeah, you don't know which way to go.
So their moms took action.
We've had to explore some options that we've never really had to do before. Counseling. I collaborated with her pediatrician, kind of seeing is anybody else going through this? My kid just doesn't seem herself anymore. I've lost a big piece of her.
Kyleigh and Ripley now see counselors and take medications for anxiety and depression, all so they can survive virtual school.
We really saw a difference. She's getting up at 7:30 in the morning and coming downstairs and being more involved with the family.
And they're not alone. Data from Henrico County's Mental Health and Developmental Services shows a nearly 25% increase in the number of kids receiving services between July and November of 2020 compared to the same time period in 2019.
COVID has stressed a lot of families and children these days with virtual school, and I just believe less social interaction has occurred as a result and more isolation.
Dr. Randy Geldrich heads up the pediatric emergency department at St. Mary's Hospital. He says they've seen more kids coming in with mental health issues since COVID-19 began.
They may come in because of panic attacks related to anxiety, or they may come in as a result of not sleeping well at night and simply being quite anxious.
Geldrich's team assesses the kids and decides if they can go home with a list of resources to help them or if they need inpatient psychiatric care.
The wait could be the same day to several days. It could be 4 or 5 days.
Kyleigh and Ripley did not need that level of care, but both say they'd feel better if they were allowed to be in school full time.
You guys want to go back to school?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that opening up the schools just as an option would help so many people in so many ways.
Jennifer Farmer just wishes Henrico families who want to send their middle and high schoolers back had that option now, as opposed to having to wait until February.
Would you feel comfortable sending her back to full-time school?
Absolutely. I would send her back to full-time school tomorrow if they told me it was open. We're creating a huge inequity. Families that can afford to send their kids to private schools are in school getting all the things that our kids are missing out on because we don't have a choice.
We checked with Chesterfield and Richmond to find out if more kids are seeking out mental health services in those communities. In Chesterfield, the number of kids seeking support through their community services board actually dropped when the pandemic began, and it has continued to decrease. A spokesperson said the schools are a major referral source for the CSB, and it's certainly possible that the lack of in-person contact with youth has impacted referrals. However, they added that the youth they are serving are reporting a significant amount of distress and have higher needs for care than they've seen in the past. Now, in the city of Richmond, the Richmond Behavioral Health Authority says fewer kids are requesting mental health services during the pandemic, but RBHA believes that is because many of the services they have offered within Richmond Public Schools for years have been curtailed or altered due to virtual learning. The COO for RBHA says they are working closely with RPS to identify youth who need services, and they are educating school personnel about their services. To learn more about what the superintendent for public instruction in the state of Virginia, Dr. James Lane, says the state is doing to try to address some of these mental health problems, visit this story on our website, WTVR.com. Working for you, I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.